gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Shop. I'm your host, Robert. Progress, Chapter 76, Hello, Wembley. Review. It aired on the Domain Progress on Saturday. Got a chance to watch it over the weekend. Great show. Some of these matches were really, really good. Some of these matches were just good. It depends on what your likability was of matches. First match, we had Matt Riddle, his last independent wrestling show before he goes full-time with the NXT brand of WWE. Excited to see how the King of Bros will fare in WWE. Obviously, Keith Lee, another indie star, recently signed also. So definitely these guys have a history with each other and evolve. They should be able to move up the ranks there in WWE and have a great time to get, having matches. He faced off with Mark Haskins. Over the weekend, I was talking with J-Man from the Dead Pulse Theory and formerly Pro Wrestling Pulse. And him and I were talking about this show, and we were talking about Mark Haskins. And he referred to Mark Haskins, or what he thought of Mark Haskins was a young CM Punk, like a 2002-ish CM Punk. Thought about it for a little bit. I was like, damn, that is dead on. So go back online and look at some of the IWA Mid-South shows and some of the early Ring of Honor stuff, and look at that CM Punk and look at Mark Haskins. I can see a similarity there. I can see it enough go, man, what if Mark Haskins could turn into a CM Punk type of wrestler? That'd be fucking phenomenal. But yeah, this match was good. I mean, a lot of strikes, a lot of kicks and everything, because Matt Riddle, former MMA guy, all about the striking. Haskins did multiple over-the-top stuff. Riddle did this freaking tombstone on the ring apron. Riddle also does this it's called a ripcord knee, and it still wasn't enough to put Mark Haskins away. Mark Haskins did get the victory here. I gave it 3 3/4. It was like right there for me. I recently got the PWI 500 edition of the Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine. Matt Riddle's ranked 46th, and Mark Haskins is 148th. One thing I noticed about the PWI, which I'll have a whole video about some things about it, is a lot of the European guys, a lot of the non-US wrestlers weren't ranked as high as I felt they should have been. Matt Riddle was 100 wrestlers better than Mark Haskins. So I gave it 3 3/4. Mark Haskins getting the victory there. Next, we had a Progress Women's title line triple threat match. We had champion Jinny and her House of Couture out there with Toni Storm versus Millie McKenzie. This match just started off with, the feud that Toni Storm and Jinny have had in Progress is just second to none when it comes to women's feuds. And what's cool about it is they feuded in other wrestling companies like Defiant and Pro Wrestling, Red Pro Wrestling, RPW UK, and they've taken that feud on to WWE. They're both going to be part of the WWE United Kingdom division, and they're also part of the Mae Young Classic. First round matchup, Mae Young Classic, Jinny versus Toni Storm. So yeah, definitely this feud, and these two started off hot. Ground and pound, Jinny and Toni Storm just went after each other. The House of Couture, if you have not heard of them, it's Charlie Morgan, Chikara. I can't remember the other girl's name, man. You wrote it down. Anyway, they attacked Millie McKenzie on the outside. So, and Millie's been and Toni Storm been kind of hanging out with Candy Floss and Laura Delametto. So they come out, kind of even the sides up a little bit. Millie is a suplex machine. One of the few female wrestlers that just starts snapping off Germans. She went to do a German suplex on Toni Storm. Well, it ended up being like a double German, where it was Jinny, Toni Storm, and then Millie McKenzie, and she suplexed them both. Toni Storm just kind of... It's almost like when a bell rings and she's in there with a Jinny or something, she's just gonna all she sees is bread, and they just went after each other. Storm did a pile driver on Millie McKenzie on the ring apron. Well, Laura D'Amento, who's been with Toni Storm, turned on Toni Storm and joined the House of Couture and helped Jinny retain her women's title. I didn't like the way it ended. I mean, it came off pretty cool on TV, but as good as this match was up until that point, I ended up giving it a 3.5. If it would have been a clean victory without the turn, I probably would have went 3 3/4, maybe 4. But little things like that, it's like, to me, it took away from the match. So I give it 3.5. Jinny retains her Progress Wrestling Women's Championship. Jordynne Grace debuted at Progress, comes out. Of course, Jinny and the House of Couture leave. So yeah, to see Jordynne Grace, who was part of the All In Over the Budget Battle Royal, on the first show of the All In show in Chicago, to see her kind of now joining Progress and joining some of these top elite women, could eventually go on to other companies and stuff and kind of develop her more up, which is pretty cool to see because there's a lot of people leaving Progress to go to NXT UK. Next, we had the Progress Atlas title on the line. We had champion Doug Williams. And it was announced that if Williams loses, he will retire. So this is a retirement match if he loses for Doug Williams versus Trent Seven. Doug Williams is the godfather of British wrestling. Trent Seven is the godfather of British strong style wrestling. What I would consider British strong style is the strikes and kicking, hitting, chops and all that. The striking, and then kind of the striking and submission of what British wrestling is, comboed with the lucha libre style of Mexico wrestling is kind of, to me, what British strong style is. You do a lot of diving, you do a lot of striking, you do all, submission. It's kind of the whole combination thing. So yeah, these two guys, veterans in the ring, they know each other. They are all about British strong style, British wrestling. One of Trent Seven's finishers is called Chaos Theory. Doug Williams kicked out of it twice. Not too many people have done that. You could see Doug Williams he brought us all to this match. Trent Seven, we've seen him on NXT. We've seen him on some of the NXT tournaments, or NXT, the UK stuff, the WWE's on the network. He's very talented. He deserves, a chance to be a superstar. He did get the victory here. Trent Seven got the pin on Doug Williams. Doug Williams' career that's covered across the world of professional wrestling. He's wrestled in the United States with TNA. He's wrestled in Canada. He's wrestled in Mexico, UK. He's wrestled all over the world. He's won titles all over the world. So we had Trent Seven winning the Progress Atlas title here, ending the career of Doug Williams. I give this match 3 3/4. I'd compare it kind of to the Shawn Taker of WrestleMania 26. Or the Sean Flair of 24, excuse me. Kind of that retirement match. Two guys who Trent Seven kind of looked up to Doug Williams a little bit. And just kind of the way Flair and Sean came off. This didn't come off as, it didn't tell that good a story like that Sean and Flair did, but it did tell a pretty good story. Next, we had a no disqualification grudge match. If you've seen any of the history of Progress Wrestling, Chapter 75, Paul Robinson was the referee for Jimmy Havoc and Will Ospreay. Paul Robinson had teamed with Jimmy Havoc. He teamed with Will Ospreay. He had feuded with both of them. He was kind of the perfect person to be that referee. Well, with Will Ospreay having this full-time contract with New Japan having their fighting styles. What the hell is the name of that show? The New Japan show, Fighting Spirit Unleashed. That was the same night in California, in Long Beach. Will Ospreay wasn't able to make Wembley, so they did the Havoc Ospreay match at Chapter 75. Paul Robinson was the referee. Well, that told a great story. That match was phenomenal. Paul Robinson ended up turning on Jimmy Havoc, or turning against him, causing Will Ospreay to win, which set up, bam, Paul Robinson, Jimmy Havoc. Oh my God, Jimmy fucking Havoc to me is the modern day Mick Foley. He could give two shits about his body and what he puts his body through in a match. And just, I mean, Havoc was pulling chairs out. And they don't use a lot of tables in some of these matches. Jimmy Havoc doesn't. He doesn't like tables. He likes fucking doors. He'll put somebody through a door. When you throw somebody through a door, it's kind of, yeah, that's rough. I mean, just Paul Robinson pulled his frying pan out from under the ring, cast iron frying pan, whacked fucking Havoc in the head with it to no effect. I don't think Jimmy Havoc has a brain in his head. If he does, his head is harder than concrete. Because it's like no effect, a frying pan to the head. I mean, they had light tubes, and after light tubes, there was one spot, one thing that Jimmy Havoc likes to do, he likes to take the stapler and staple people. He'll staple pictures of people, and he'll take a picture and do like a paper cut in between your fingernails, like it's going to hurt like, between your fingers, like it's going to hurt like a motherfucker. Or he'll paper cut your tongue. Well, when he staples people, it's like, okay, it's kind of, there was one spot here where, yeah, Havoc was on the ring, on the turnbuckle, had his kind of legs behind him, and Paul Robinson went to staple him in the dick. They zoomed in on this. Well, the stapler was that far from him when he fucking pulled the trigger, and he reacted. Okay, I'm sorry, but if you're going to have a spot like that, don't zoom the fucking camera in so you can legit see it fucking miss. It's like, bad camera angle. So you can see you didn't really fucking do it. It's like, okay, come on. If you wouldn't have zoomed the camera in, it looked legit. It was, but to zoom the camera in to see the stapler was that far from the dude's dick, and he didn't, and he pulled the fucking, he stapled, and it's like, really? But I mean, the Death Valley Driver on the tacks, and then the curb stomp through a light tube. I mean, just, god damn, when you do curb stomps to somebody's face on a light tube, of course the light tube just shatters. Swantons on the light tubes through on top of somebody. Jimmy Havoc ended up hitting the acid rainmaker on the tacks. Because it's where he got the pin at. So Jimmy Havoc gets the pin on Paul Robinson. This feud just, whoa. I gave this match 4.5. It was just intriguing as hell. Told a cool story to me. So next we had a Progress Wrestling original. It's a Progress Wrestling Thunderbastard tag team match. What this Thunderbastard tag team series has done, you had 8 teams wrestling and getting points, wins and losses. The team with the best record came out last, so it ended up being a kind of elimination. When WWE would do would be like a more or less the tag team elimination match. So basically, here's what happens: you had 2 teams start. Every 2 minutes, another team comes in. You can be eliminated by pinfall, submission, or countout, or DQ. And then, so it's kind of an elimination style match. But every team comes in every 2 minutes, so you can legit have multiple teams in there at a time. The first 2 teams to start, which on the Thunderbastard series wins-loss was the worst team. So they took the 8 teams, they ranked them, and that's how they came out. Well, the worst team just happened to be the current Progress Wrestling Tag Team Champions, Flamita and Bandido, and then they started off versus Sexy Star. 2 minutes later, the first team that came in was Team MMM, which is Maverick Mayhew and Connor Mills. And then no eliminations. The next team in was the Aussie Open team of Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher. The third team in was the Anti-Fun Police, which is No Fun Dunne, and what the hell is the big dude's name? Did I write it down? Oh, Big Guy Santos. And then the next team in was the Grizzled young veterans. Zach Gibson, Liverpool's #1, and Mr. Mayhew, James Drake. And then the fifth team was Calamari Thatch Kings, which is Chris Brooks of CCK and Timothy Thatcher. We had a first elimination at that point as Calamari Thatch Kings were coming out. The Grizzled young veterans ended up pinning Eminem. Zach Gibson pinned Maverick Mayhew. So now we have 4 teams left. Next team to come out was the final team to come out, which was the was 6-0 during the Thunderbastard Tag Team Series. Was Team 198, which is Flash Morgan Webster and Wild Boar. Then we started getting to some eliminations. We had the Team 198 pinning Sexy Star. Wild Boar pinned Jack Sexsmith. When these guys like a Bandido or Flamita, they're from Mexico. They're former Mexican Tag Team Champions. They've wrestled throughout the world. They have that lucha libre style, which came a lot in this match, the British strong style. A lot of flips and everything. Of course, Bandido ended up going. Everybody was on the outside except for Bandido. Everybody got tossed out there. Bandido does a top rope flip onto everyone while holding No Fun Dunne. So yeah, so picture Bandido and No Fun Dunne on the top rope, and he kind of, not like a suplex, more of a side suplex type thing, onto everyone. And then the big guy Santos from Anti-Fun thought, you know what, if y'all can do this, 400-pound dude diving over the frickin' ropes onto everyone. Team 198 ended up getting eliminating Anti-Fun Dunne. Wild Boar ended up pinning No Fun Dunne. The next elimination was Mark Davis of Aussie Open pinning Timothy Thatcher of Kamari Thatch, which once one member of your team got eliminated, the whole team was eliminated. Team 198 ended up eliminating Flamita and Bandido. Webster pinned Bandido, which meant no matter what, we were getting new Progress Tag Team Champions. The final 4 would end up being Aussie Open, Team 198, Grizzled Young Veterans, and let's see, hold on. And 198, Aussie Open, and Grizzled Young Veterans for the final 3. Aussie Open ended up eliminating 198, which came down to the final 2 of Aussie Open and Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher versus the Grizzled Young Veterans, Zach Gibson and James Drake. Kyle Fletcher ended up pinning James Drake for a new Progress Tag Team Champions of Aussie Open. What an interesting match this was. I gave it 4.5. It was good. Had a lot of different action in it. Just a cool idea of building this Thunderbastard Tag Team Series matchup and everything. So it was pretty cool there. Next match, we had Ilja Dragunov versus Pete Dunne. Ilja Dragunov, new to Progress. He's a star in the UK. I don't know a lot about him. Know about Pete Dunne and how good Pete Dunne is. Just the brawling, the strikes, the chops. These two just went after each other the first part of the match. Dunne did a freaking, almost like a curb stomp type stomp on Dragunov in the head to zero effect. They just started. We've seen a lot of professional wrestling where people just sit there and just kind of pound on each other. They did that with headbutts. I mean, they're just headbutt, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's like, holy motherfucking God. Dragunov did this. His manager hit CMJ, hit Pete Dunne. Dragunov did this coast to coast hitting Pete Dunne. It was Shane McMahon type coast to coast. It was actually kind of cool. Well, Dragunov got up from that, from taking out Pete Dunne there. Did a snap suplex, went to do the coast to coast again. This time, when he went to do it, he got caught by Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne hit a bitter end. Dragunov kicked out. Pete Dunne ended up winning by submission. So Pete Dunne did get the victory here. I called it a 4.5. I said 4.5. It was really good. So yeah, it was 3, 4.5 matches here. Boom, 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 boom. So yeah, you're having matches like that. It's like, all right, there's 2 more matches left in this card. This is a 4-hour show. It was actually getting like, all right, this is pretty fucking good so far. Next, we had a tables, ladders, and chairs match to end the feud between Eddie Dennis and Mark Andrews. They used to be tag team partners throughout early years of Progress. Mark Andrews was getting all the hype, all the recognition. Eddie Dennis was getting jealous. So he ended up turning on him at one point. The 2 of these guys had this TLC match. Winner gets a title shot, any title shot anywhere. Yeah, just tables, ladders, chairs. Mark Andrews being the cruiser, the kind of the cruiserweight guy, doing all the spots and whatnot. Package pile driver here and here. At one point, Eddie Dennis climbs the ladder, went to grab the contract, looked down, and Mark Andrews came back down the ladder, decided to, let's see if we can do this again, and did it again, did the package pile driver. Andrews kicked out, ended up doing it off the fucking ladder, did it, and then did the swanton off the ladder, and then Eddie Dennis climbed up, retrieved his contract, and has the winner of the TLC match with him and Mark Andrews, getting that title shot anywhere, anytime. I gave it 4 3/4 star. 4 3/4 star. The main event of Hello Wembley. Progress champion Walter versus inaugural WWE United Kingdom champion Tyler Bate, the big strong boy. What a match. Some of the highlights of it, Bate did some dives to the outside on Walter. Walter caught him and did a freaking suplex onto the outside. Walter caught him and hit him into the ring post. And then later on, Bate did a suplex on Walter on the outside. Tyler Bate does these airplane spins in the ring. Not once, but twice he did the big airplane spin with Walter on his shoulders. Walter did this top rope dive. Bate kicked out. Walter first rope this he picked Walter up, had Bate on his back, and kind of did a top rope, first rope kind of jump off there for him. Bate exploder suplex off the top rope with Walter. Walter ended up kicking out of Tyler Bate's Tyler 97 finisher move Tyler Bate has. Walter ended up getting the pinfall victory here, retaining his Progress Wrestling Championship. I gave it 4 3/4. It was at 35 minutes, a pretty good match here. You really didn't know how it was going to end, what was going to happen. But we ended up getting Walter to retain his title. So that is my review of Chapter 76, Hello Wembley from Progress Wrestling. I would definitely check it out on Progress on Demand. It's $7.99 a month. It's well worth it, I think. Something I'm going to be doing is kind of between Progress, New Japan, Rev Pro, and WWN, which is Evolve and all that. Each month, kind of doing 2 a month, and then the next month doing 2 more. just kind of rotating between the 4. That way I'm not paying for stuff I'm not watching, then I got time to watch it all for the month. So that's my plans. You do what you want to do, you do you. If you've not checked out Progress, definitely check it out. Well, thanks for watching the Robert Sports Show. Just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.